is Amber Sharice, and I'm back for season 4 of Letters from My Mama. I'm so excited. I didn't think we would get this far so fast, but here we are. Things are a little different because I'm in front of the camera. I'm normally behind the camera, so it's taking some getting used to, but here we are. And I'm also a new mama, so that's a life update for me. I have a 7-week-old. This is Drew, and he's going to hang out with us for this episode. Is that okay, ladies? Because he's not ready. He's just not. So today, our episode is sponsored by That Good Piece, the luxury relaxation brand. And our candle for this episode is My Worth is not defined by your actions or your opinions. Can you agree? Because we're just not doing that in this season. So you've met Kelly and you've met Brittany in season 1, Kelly in season 2. So we're just going to let you introduce yourselves. We're going to get some life updates, like what has happened since we last saw you. The audience wants to know.
You want to go first?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly. I am a wedding and lifestyle branding photographer right here in Baltimore, Maryland. I am very good friends with Amber. That's my heart right there. Life updates. What has happened since I last saw you? Oh, we're in my studio.
Since 2019.
We're in KFP Studios right here in Randallstown, Maryland. We've been here for 2 years now. Literally 2 years. So I'm excited about that. Things are going really well with everything. I think that's it. I think that's the only thing really right now worth noting.
We're talking about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But things are really, really, really good. Yeah, things are good.
Okay, Britt.
When was season 1?
Season 1 was 2018.
2018. So that's a whole 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if I were to like throw something but behind like I might say that like I am in season of like significant transition. I am evolving. I am growing. And the fact that I'm even like leading with I am in that way is significant because 4 years ago, maybe even like 2 years ago, if someone asked me who I am, I would like share like what I do. And I would talk about like all the things that I do within my profession. And a lot of that had to do with how much I associated my identity with like my work.
Oh, that's
and
good.
So I am learning and like unlearning, y'all. If I think about what is different from 4 years ago, in the spirit of work, I left my full-time job.
Yay.
And transitioned into being a full-time entrepreneur. The top of this year, our family went through significant grief. And so I am mourning the transition of my grandfathers. I am engaged. So I'm a whole fiance. I actually met my fiance during the pandemic. So season 1 was before the pandemic.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And so a whole vibe in that sense. I think that's it for now. Like hella transition, but then also like hella growth and like hella learning and like, you know how Michelle Obama becoming, that resonates.
Okay.
Becoming. Yeah.
And I have to say, I celebrate you leaving your job because there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. There's absolutely not. There are people who thrive doing that. But when you walk with such purpose, sometimes taking that step is necessary. And I'm so proud of you for taking that step. And we've had conversations about this before. So very proud of you. And I love being an entrepreneur. So I'm going to always tell you to quit your job.
No, really.
What should I do? Literally. Just quit. Just figure it out. And you're going to be fine. You know, so.
I love your last update because earlier in the season, you guys see me sit down with my mom. And the funniest update from my life is that the last time you saw me film with my mom, I said I had an icebox. My heart used to be. I ain't doing it. And Brittany, you got to see her talk about heartbreak. And we were not in that area. Like, we ain't thinking about you. And here you are. So how has that been?
2018.
New love.
Oh my gosh. You're right. I'm like, actually, so I remember now season 1 is coming back. That was literally in my dining room.
Yep. We felt on my cell phone. So evolution, evolving.
Yeah. So
it's interesting because one of our friends, we were having a conversation last night, and she reminded me. She was like, I remember at the end of 2019, we were having a conversation, and she referenced how I must have said something like, I am no longer essentially playing games. And I no longer feel compelled to be in relationship with men just for the sake of validation or being, feeling affection. I just no longer felt like I had capacity. And she also shared, she was like, and then you said something, Britt, to the effect of but I feel like 2020, it'll be some sort of breakthrough. She was like, you know what I mean? She referenced that. And to be honest, I was like, Jen, I don't know if she was like, no. She said, you felt like something was in your spirit that called for you to clean shop, clean up shop, clean up house or whatever. And so, yeah, it is mind-boggling to me that in as much as the global pandemic was certainly a season of trauma and even disconnection and a time where you would not expect to meet people. For me, it was a time where I actually met, the man who
my person.
Yeah. So, and if you would ask me in season, I want to go back to season 1 now. Right. If I would have imagined that for now, I don't know what I would, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I think it's such a different place. I was yeah, I don't know.
We had a manifestation dinner, and we wrote love in there. We said we're going to be intentional. That 2020? This was January 4th, 2020.
So yeah, so that's what yeah.
Pre-pandemic still.
And we met January.
And then
18th.
we jumped on. What did we do? We took a leap.
Bumble.
We jumped on the app.
Sponsor.
And then you told me about you told me about Facebook dating. I'm like, I didn't even know that existed.
Listen. So wait a minute. So I think it's significant to say this before we get into. I think it's significant to say that I think it's. I think it is a good thing that you lean into feeling that shift, because we don't always know what's on the other side of that. And I'm there now. I'm at the point where I'm just something is totally different. Something feels different. I'm not on Facebook dating anymore. And I don't think I'm going to get back on online dating. I just don't think that's my way anymore. Right. But that shift feeling is definitely where I can say that I am right now. But it's good that you leaned into that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you can feel it. You literally can feel when something is changing and something is different when you have to make changes. So, but yeah, no.
And have somebody to bear witness to that, because when she said that, I feel like sometimes we can get in the hustle and bustle of stuff going on that we don't necessarily carve out space to remember. And so for her to have bear witness to that and just remind me that a significant part of this journey story was you saying, this is no longer for me and I don't have space for. And then being open to even the manifestation, then to be reminded of that, to have people bear witness of breakthrough and transition.
I love that.
So in the spirit of letters, the whole premise is healing early, not bringing out traumas into our relationships in our 20s and our 30s. We want to give them the cheat code. And I know one thing that I noticed in my new relationship is I feel like I attracted what I deserved because I was healed. I wasn't in that space of, I wasn't defensive anymore. I wasn't dealing with the trauma of abandonment. And I had to say, I'm independent. I could do this because I'm used to nobody helping me and doing it. So do you think that therapy and healing brings you to a place where you're attracting what you want and what you deserve?
Yeah, I do. I think that, again, I think that is where I am now. Literally, at the top of this summer, I kind of went on this whole eat, pray, love travel journey, right? And I literally had to some things I cut off, some things cut off from me, things, people, places, right? And the whole purpose of it was for me to really dig deep and who is Kelly? what do I like? What do I need to deal with? What are the things that I need to face? What are the things that I need to cut away at? And it's been so healing, like going through this journey. And I can already like start to feel some of the things that are being attracted into my life just from doing that. You know what I mean? But yeah, healing, making sure you are taking the time to heal is vital. It is vital, like vital. Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah. I would say, so I've been thinking about like the language of like healing and stuff like that. Because I feel like it can sometimes feel a little overwhelming, you know, like healing and like being healed, especially healing. Yeah, healing, right? And like just like, oh, do I need to be like, I think it's important, especially as a young person, as someone, you know, a teenager, adolescent who may be watching this, like healing doesn't mean, and even it doesn't mean perfection. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like being independent or like in a silo. And so I think that part of like the journey, like the healing journey for me was like, one, being really intentional about who I am surrounded with.
Yes.
I think about the journey looking like one where I'm gaining like just more and more clarity about myself, which requires like a certain degree of like stillness, because I think we overestimate like how much we know about ourselves.
Oh my goodness.
Like just because you wake up in your body every day don't really mean you know yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like even at 33, I'm like constantly like learning like, what do I value? You know what I mean? Like, what do I value? What do I really like doing? You know what I mean? And then how do I get closer in community with people who align with that? What are some things that are like my fears or like some things that like really get me like antsy and triggered? Because when those things happen, I don't need to gaslight myself into feeling like it's fake. You know what I mean? I actually can like validate myself so I'm not like projecting, you know how sometimes when you feel invalidated, that can make you like really frustrated. So then you end up projecting that frustration on like other people. You know what I mean?
Even sometimes not even knowing that you're
exactly right. And so then it's like really messy in your friend. So like I feel like, you know, for me, very practically, for the folks, I mean, for the young people who are like into tips and stuff, like I like to journal. You know what I mean? Like that has become like a way to heal that's tangible before I even got a therapist. Because I think that's another thing too.
Oh my
goodness. Therapy has gotten real like mainstream. And we love to see it. But you know, some people don't have access to therapy. You know what I mean? It took me forever to find a therapist. But you know what did help? Journaling, like listening to good music, being around people who nourished me, you know? And so the more I got closer to like realizing all of those things, I feel like the better primed I was to like be open to things like new love, things like new ideas that turned into business. You know what I mean? Like things like just new people who can like pour into me, right?
So for me, to just kind of piggyback off of what Brittany said, healing for me has been returning to a place of wholeness, right? And not to be misconstrued with returning to a place of perfection. That's not what wholeness is, right? So that's what it's been for me during this whole time. And I'm literally falling in love with this time that I'm in right now. I love where I am. Like I literally wake up every day and affirm myself. Every day before I get on my phone, I pray. I make time for stillness. I make time for prayer. I make time for, affirmations, meditation. Like that has been my saving grace, my saving grace, and setting boundaries. Like literally setting boundaries for yourself, setting boundaries for other people. This is what I will accept. This is what I will not accept this type of anything that just doesn't sit right with you. Right. So that's, to me, that's what healing has been for me. Just returning to wholeness, returning to my core, who I really am, what I really like. Right. You know what I mean?
So I want to talk about boundaries, but before you say that, I like that you said that healing is not perfection. I don't want anybody to feel that. I have a whole blog called Selling Peace While in Pieces. And I think people need to realize that even when I ask people to come on letters, like, well, I'm not all the way there.
Right.
We're never going to be all the way there by whose standards. Like, we're never.
Yeah.
But boundaries are so important in anything, at work, relational, familial, you have to have set boundaries. And we always talk about ignoring red flags, but what are some green flags? Like, how do you know that you're in a good space, like a good friendship or a good relationship?
I'm gonna say for me, because I feel like I've been going through this for the last year. I feel that when it sits, I feel like when it sits right. I mean, for me, I'm a feeler. Like I'm a very sensitive, probably hypersensitive, almost, right? So I can tell when someone's like tone changes or body language. I'm very in tune with that type of thing. So for me, that's where it starts, right? And then you just gotta look at like what's before you. Does this person validate my feelings? You know, or do they disregard my feelings? Does this person listen to me? Do they apologize when they're wrong? Are they open to conversation when there is conflict? Like that type of thing. Is it healthy? Does it feel healthy? And those are the, like, it's kind of like my checklists. You know what I mean? And I'm happy to say I got some good friends. Like, I feel like I have a good circle of girlfriends and just friends, period. You know, male and female. But I really can't say I'm surrounded with bad people. Like, I feel like everybody in my life is like solid.
Some things we
solid.
know.
Right.
What about you, Britt?
So I feel like one of the things that comes up for me is, what are those spaces and places? So this is a question I ask myself. Where are those like spaces and places and like people where you feel like enough? You know what I mean? Like you and your being just feel like enough. That's the green flag. When you literally feel like enough. Because I've been in relationships and in friendships where I felt like I wasn't enough. Like my effort wasn't enough because I'm not calling enough. You know, like all of these things that like made me feel like I wasn't doing enough. And so I remember me and my fiance even had a conversation about this. Like let's take stock and inventory of like the places that we're in and the people that we're around who we feel like enough. Do I feel like enough to them?
That's good.
And do I feel like enough in this place? Because there's too many places in the world, especially as Black people, where we don't feel like enough. And so that's a green flag. Do you feel like enough? I think the second one for me is like, I appreciate spaces and people where I don't have to over explain because that's exhausting. And so I feel like being around people who just get it and get you, that doesn't mean they have to like accept, you know what I mean? But just like are not requiring you to like over explain or over convince. If, you know, because that's energy.
It's a lot.
You shouldn't have to prove anything to the people who are like who you are in community, right? Like you just shouldn't. So it's the enoughness. It's like not having to over explain. I feel like it's also, you know, I think green flag for me is when I'm on like parallel journeys, not the same journey, but like I appreciate like when me and a friend are like on parallel journeys and maybe like the journey ain't the same, but like it's like parallel. It's like, okay, you're also in the season of transition. Your transition might look different from mine, but like it's something that we can like process together. You know what I mean? Like, or you're also in the season of like mourning, and it may look different, but like it's something about just being like affirmed, right? And so that's a green flag. Y'all don't gotta be going through the same thing, but you like witness like this like, okay, this like synergy, like it's like a line.
And again, you can feel that.
You feel it.
You can feel when you're kind of like on the same path as somebody, right? To me, that's what knits hearts together. That's what, you know what I mean? That's how you build bonds. Even with your spouses. That's how, I mean, obviously y'all gotta have something in common.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a real good.
It's the same thing. In friendship, it's the same thing. So.
Hey y'all, this episode is brought to you by That Good Peace, the luxury relaxation brand promoting peace, mental healthiness, and presence. Be sure to head over to thatgoodpeace.com to check out all of our handmade candles, teas, and essential oils to levitate your senses, teleport your mind, and manifest your mood. This week's featured candle is My Worth is Not Defined by Your Opinions or Actions. To experience this candle for yourself, Use the code LFMM4 at checkout for 20% off all of our products. So friendship, why do you think as women, some women, we'll give like our partner mad chances, a million chances, and then we're like really quick to cut off friendships? Like, why do you think that is?
Investment.
What you mean?
I think
Investment. So what I mean by that is, how real can we be on this? Okay.
I can't wait. What you want to say?
If we think about investment, right? God forbid, you know, Brittany is my friend, right? Me and Brittany been friends for years, right? Mm-hmm. And something happens where we have a misunderstanding, right? I've been dating my guy maybe for maybe the same amount of years or less. But my investment to my man is different than my investment in friendship with Brittany. And I think a lot of times it can be, I feel like it could be viewed a little bit, like the value is a little bit.
Why do you think that though?
I don't sleep with you. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? I don't have a man, but I'm just saying.
I'm just curious what
you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying?
That's a good question. So
I think that's part of
real.
it.
That's like real.
Romantic love,
like,
romantic love sometimes can be viewed a little bit higher than.
But
you know, a friendship.
It
doesn't make it right.
It
doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right, but it just is.
Yeah.
It just is. And romantic love is, for me, has been very complex. I'm not going to say difficult, but it's been very complex. So I don't know why that is. It just is. That's what I think. That's my opinion. But I value my friendships too. So I'm not necessarily, I do feel that, I grieve relationships almost the same as a romantic relationship, like a breakup. Like, you know what I mean? Friend breakups hurt too. You get what I'm saying?
That's why my question. So that's what I was trying to get at around the value thing, because I actually think that I feel like on one hand, yes, I have experienced some women extend a little bit more grace to like men who they're in relationships with, or people they're in relationships with, versus like some of their like platonic friendships. Mm-hmm. I've experienced that. But I don't know if I would agree that like an intimate relationship is easier to grieve than a platonic relationship. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the case. But I think one of the things that comes up for me, because I don't know if I agree. Well, I don't think it's easier. I don't know. I think it comes back to boundaries. So that's what I keep that's what I keep thinking about. So I feel like anytime there's a relationship that you have to like grieve, or a relationship that you're severed, I guess, it usually comes back down to something happening that triggers something and you don't know how to resolve it. I think sometimes in intimate relationships, there's like depending on like the level of like depth of the connection, there's a little bit more like cushion at the, like if you're jumping off something, there's like a little bit more cushion for you to like bounce. Agree. So I get what you're right.
I kind of agree.
And it probably does link back to the physical though.
It could be the physical. I don't know, because I'm also wondering.
But to me it is
intimacy.
Yeah. To me it is.
Or is it the vision? Or is it like the? Or is it the vision
of what could happen or what could be, the expectation of,
like, is there a cost benefits analysis that we're doing? You know what I mean?
I get it.
There's a cost benefits analysis that we're doing.
I totally get that.
And I don't know how to formulate it or formulate it the right way, but I do feel like there's a cost benefit analysis, because I've actually, so this is like transparently one of the things that my fiance shared with me is that he does like, one of the things that we work through in our conflict is his perception that I can sometimes, when I'm like triggered, make people feel disposable. Like he shared, like, you know what I mean? Like replace, like, and that was some feedback that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. Like he said that he was like, I don't like you, especially when something like really rubs up against you. He's like, you legit can make someone feel like disposable. Mm-hmm. I that's not my intention. You know what I mean? You know, that's not my intention, but I felt like that was like real feedback that he shared with me. And so when I interrogate that some more, I'm like, okay, he's saying that because I have made him feel that way, perhaps. You know what I mean? But there was also something I think in him that he had capacity for to like work through. You know what I mean?
Like, he's patient.
You know what I mean? Like, I think he had like capacity to also like, okay.
But I think also that if that's something that you are doing, that's probably something that maybe was like maybe a trauma response. You know what I mean? Or a defense mechanism, right? Because I can do this. I can be the exact same way. Yeah. The exact same way. Not only make somebody feel like they're disposable, but actually really not care, like right in here. Like not even. Yeah.
And I didn't know he legit was
like everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. You just lost a 20-year friendship. You're not, like, you're okay. I'm actually fine. Moving right along.
I think for me, if
that's terrible.
What a man would do, right? Whatever a man would do, like, oh, he lied, or I don't want to go all the way to cheat because I don't have grace for that. In this season. I don't anyway. But I think for a friendship, I think we equated like it's higher. It's up
expectations.
Here. It is because you know my secrets. We're not telling our men every single secret. Yeah. And it feels like more of like a betrayal. Like this hurts. This hurts me. It hurts more.
I can see that.
And I feel like that's what it levels out to. And then also as women, especially if you hang around each other, you're just alike. You're not going to be like, oh, whereas a man is like, oh, can you forgive me? And coming doubling back and getting up in there and you're like, okay. Women are not doing, I've never experienced that. Right. The comeback of it all.
Hold on, y'all be telling y'all man all y'all secrets.
I said don't. I tell them some.
I was about to say, but this is the thing that I was about to say.
It's a different level.
This is why I feel like, don't you know when they say that, like, when your best friend, you know, and this could be, right. I don't know if this is you, but like, legit.
Like, don't tell nobody, but we telling him.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, like, not even trying to gas him if he sees this. But like,
he's gonna see it. Hey,
look, I feel like legit, I'm gonna be my best friend.
Right, so, like, that's what I'm saying.
So much so that we got into an argument once, and I remember he was like, "Don't nobody know you like I know you," and I was like, "Bet." Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was in a moment of anger.
No, it's true.
But and that's what actually has been different. Yeah. And so that's what that whole like sense of enoughness, that like, you know, not needing to over explain, like in those green flags I mentioned. I feel like I experience it in the context of our relationship. I do feel like that does create elevated expectations, because I feel like anytime I've had a platonic friendship that's in that same way, I've absolutely like had elevated expectations, which can be harmful too, right? The whole like expecting perfection from the people around you, especially when like, you know, you're triggered by something. And so yeah, I feel like we need to extend grace to the people, yes, that are around us, but we still also deserve boundaries. Like, I feel like you can also create boundaries for
I love friends. That you said that. Like, I think that I don't think we give people grace naturally. Like, just as human beings. Like, I feel like, and this is something that I'm learning right now. I'm learning so much right now. But extending grace to people, just period. Like, but especially our friends. Like, you know, if we have a disagreement or if we have a misunderstanding, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Well, you know what? Maybe you didn't mean it like that. Or maybe you're having a hard day. You know what I'm saying? I'll call you. It takes 4 years to get a text message back from you.
But you know me.
But I know you. That's the thing. That is the thing. I know you, right? You just had a baby, right? You have a brand new baby and a brand new family, a brand new union too, right? I texted you the other day. I said, I just want to know if you're alive, right? And you said, yep. And I said, what did I say?
That's all I need.
That's all I need. Why? Right? Grace. Extend grace to people. Like, I mean, how many times?
We say that too, though. Some people are like high maintenance friends. We not.
I can't take it.
We not.
I actually cannot.
I know you love me from whatever you're doing. If I don't talk to you, I don't know how long.
Like, I just want to know if you're okay. You're okay. That's it.
So let's talk to our younger viewers that's watching this, middle school, like our 13-year-olds. Let's start around that area. just think back. I know, like, when we filmed for the season, I asked y'all to reflect on your 15-year-old self. Let's reflect on our 13-year-old self. Like, what would you go back and tell that girl?
So 13, what grade is 13?
7th.
8th grade.
7th grade.
7th through 8th.
7th and 8th grade. 7th and 8th grade. 7th and 8th grade. I feel like I was like a floater. I felt like I was a floater. Like I was like I was like an overachiever. So I was always like excelling in, like school and all of that. And so that felt like good and made me feel good about myself. But I felt like I also like desired to be like friends with whoever would be friends with me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And so I feel like I might, remind my 13-year-old self that the people who I'm supposed to be around, you know what I mean? Like the people who I'm supposed to be like friends with, I don't have to fake the funk with. You know what I mean? Like, now I get it. Like I feel like it's very human to
want to fit in.
Like that's hella human.
That's very natural.
And so that's not a bad thing. And I feel like we all do it even in adulthood. But I want to like also affirm that, okay, even if they didn't hang out with you, like even if like you didn't fit in, like you still good. You know what I mean? Like you still good. And you're going to find like people. It might not be at the school. It might be in your neighborhood. It might be at the church. It might be in the extracurriculars. You know what I mean? Like you're going to find your people and it just might not be there. Yeah. And even if you don't find them where you want them to be, like don't think it's you. You know what I mean? Like the whole like, it's me. I'm horrible at that. That's it. It's not you. It's not you. And that's so, and it's, and they just may not be your people. They may not be your people. Another thing is, and it made me think about what you were saying about like the grace thing. Like, get in the habit of validating like how you're feeling. And when someone like rubs up on you like the wrong way, practice sharing how you feel versus making assumptions. Like,
that's good. That's so very good.
It made me feel this way. That made me feel this way. I just want to let you know. You know what I mean? I don't know if this was your intent, but rather than like bottle in, because I feel like I also did a lot of that. Like just a whole bunch of assumptions, and I'm real good with storytelling in my head. Like I think most women. I'm like, they must feel that, and I'm like, most women should have just asked them. I probably should have just told them.
Wow. I feel that. Yeah. I feel that. I don't know that I could have said that any better. I really don't. I think that I would tell myself, it's okay to be you. It's okay to be exactly who you are at this age, whatever that is. It's okay. Like it's fine. But yeah, I don't think I could have said it any better, Brittany. That was great. 13. That was so good.
I got one more thing. Because when I was 13, I had got like real enamored by this 16, 17-year-old. So I would tell her like, leave him alone.
Relax.
Just relax.
You got so much time.
Relax.
Girl, you're never the people that you see at 13, you're never going to see again.
Girl, I was telling her,
I don't even know what I was doing at 13.
Relax. I was enamored by this time. What is he?
Where did he see you at 13? I was riding my bike. Girl. I was not doing anything. I wasn't doing anything. No.
So I did have one more question before we wrap. So women's liberation versus doing it for the streets. So where do we draw that line? Of freedom of expression or like the lack of self-respect? No, I'm being serious because.
What's an example?
I'm gonna give you an example. So my alter ego, like everything is down for Meg Thee Stallion, but I'm not gonna be out here like Meg. I'm not gonna be wearing that. I'm not. That's not where I am in life. But I'm down for it, though. I'm here for it.
Okay.
But the reason why I ask is because I feel like a lot of young girls are super exposed right now to everything that we see on social media. This little girl looking at this too. So, like, what are we saying? Well, what's the message?
I think that's loaded. I think that's so loaded because I sit here with the two of you, right? Or the three of us, right? We are women of grace, right? I've never seen either of you wilding out on the gram. Like, never, not once. And you be on vacation and everything.
I'm about to say, I'm going to twerk.
Right?
I'm going to do all, but I'm not gonna be, I can't describe what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not going to body shame somebody. I'm not going to slut shame somebody.
Right.
But where do we draw the line for the children that are having the same access as us?
So I think it comes down to, like, the why. You know what I mean? Like the why. Like the personal why. Because I feel like that's a very personal, like, I feel like that question, I chuckled at it because I feel like that can only be, the whole where do we draw the line can only be asked from the individual. And so for me, where I draw the line is what I'm comfortable with. What I draw the line is like the extent to which it's aligned with my values. Like where I draw and so I think for the young women who are listening, I feel like the line is like your why. Are you doing this because this is who you are? Are you doing this because you are trying to, like, use your best and authentic self to make a difference? Or are you doing this for personal validation, unhealthy validation? Are you doing this to fill a void because you feel like you are not being affirmed in another way? I feel like it requires a certain degree of, like, self-inquiry. And I also feel like, because, you know, I'm thinking about my 13-year-old self, 14-year-old self, your brain, unfortunately, is probably not wired the way that it will be 15 years from now.
Yeah.
And so why, you know, the line is also wise counsel, which
that's what I was getting at.
From, but that's your like people and your parents.
Well, that's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at, which is what I mean by their upbringing, right? I mean, my upbringing was chill. Like it, I wasn't, and I feel like at the time we were exposed to. What were we exposed to?
We were exposed to none of that. We ain't have
smartphones. We had TikTok.
Smartphones.
It was
no social media at 13.
Okay. All right. But still, to your point, upbringing, right? I mean, we can't really do anything about that, but Brittany brings up a good point. You don't really know who you are until you, like, turn, 30? Like, you're just even on the brink of, like, figuring out who you really are. You know what I mean? When in my 20s, were you self-aware at 20?
I was kind of wise for my age, but like
self-aware.
I do feel like, so I feel like it's one of those things where, on some hand, I actually do, like, there's some 13 and 14-year-olds who, I mean, they, especially in the age of social media, you'd be like, wow, they on it, they get it. So I don't want to undermine, like, their level of agency.
But it's rare,
agency. At the same time, I think that whether you're 13 or 20, you can still ask yourself, am I doing this for me? Or am I doing this to gain attention from?
Yeah.
To feel better about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think that those are fair questions. And I also think that sometimes young adults need to be reminded that the people who are holding you accountable are more than likely coming from a place of love. Yeah. Some of them might be toxic.
Yep.
But there are some
more
people,
than likely.
Yeah, coming from a place of love. And so just be open.
Yeah.
I think that's a good takeaway. Number one is your why. Do not make any decisions based on the opinions of other people. And wise counsel. Like, just know that at teens, we're not trying to hear what our mother has to say. But know it's coming from love. So I think those are perfect takeaways. Do y'all have any more? Your final takeaway.
Yeah. I just to kind of reiterate, making sure that you're doing it for yourself, right? Whatever it is that you're doing, make sure it's that at the end of the day, you have to be able to sit with yourself and your own decisions, right? So, you know, you're the most important person to yourself. I tell myself that now at 36, you know, am I okay with me? Am I okay? Do I like me? Am I good with me? So if that's a yes, then you're good. In my eyes, you know?
And if you don't got it figured out, like, that's okay too. You know what I mean? Like, I be thinking about the dumb stuff I used to do. Like,
listen,
that's hella dumb. And, you know, it also made sense that I didn't have it all together.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like do the best you can, kind of like with what you got. and be really intentional about like even surrounding yourself with girlfriends and guy friends and friends just in general who like challenge you like to be better, right? And that keep you feeling like enough. If you got to do the most to be worthy of their space, then
it's a no.
It's
a no. It's a no. No, it is a no. It's a no.
Definitely. Immediately.
Immediately no.
Immediately no. Immediately.
So that's the perfect place to end. Ladies, tell the audience how you could be reached. Where can they find you?
Yes, you can reach me at kfinchphotography.com. I'm Kfinch Photography on all social media outlets.
And on Instagram, since that's where the kids are.
No, on TikTok too.
I'm not on TikTok. But at BrittanyJanae _ and BrittanyJanae.com. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw, please like, share, comment, and also donate to all the work that we're doing here. Next season, we're trying to go on tour and on the road. So that if you like what you're seeing, please donate to our programming. And thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode of Letters from My Mama, please consider supporting us by subscribing to our channel, sharing this video with a friend, and donating to Letters TV. Thanks for watching.